And we're live.
Oh, that was a terrible intro.
And
we're live.
Wait, you can't hear yourself,
I
can
can't
you?
hear myself.
You can't hear. Why can't you hear yourself today, Victor?
Because I forgot my headphones at home.
Victor forgot his headphones at home.
So, welcome back to episode 8 of Standing Room Only.
I am Shane with my headphones, and this is the ostrich known as Victor without his headphones, with his Snyder sleeves up. Ladies and gentlemen, first question of the day. How you doing, Loki? Hey, boys.
What's
hat on or
hat off? I think I'm going to keep hat on because my hair is a little greasy. Yeah.
Must be that bodega sandwich you just had. All right.
Listen, Shane, you friggin' offered me Tostino's pizza rolls, and you were only nice to share 3 of them.
I didn't offer them to you. You just took them. Anyway, welcome back to Standing Room Only, everyone. It's been a hot minute since we've been on. We're sorry.
10 days exactly.
10 days exactly. We're sorry we weren't able to go live during the Home Run Derby as we promised, but shit happens. So here we are, and we're back. And the first thing up on the agenda is
we'll talk about the
Home Run Derby. All right. So, well, first up, Christian Yelich, who had more home runs, is the only one who had more home runs than Alonso, was the top seed, and then he dropped out because he had a bad back. You know, he was able to play in the game the next day. Do you think
he probably didn't want to participate?
Probably didn't. Yeah, he probably didn't. Yeah, exactly. So, and
Matt Chapman from the Oakland A's ended up filling in his spot,
who had 21 home runs,
but he was still the top seed.
He was still the top seed.
Now, I mean,
Alonso. In retro, yes, it should have been. In retrospect, that was probably better because of the way we'll get into the heart attack that is Pete Alonso's cousin who pitched for him during the Home Run Derby. But yeah, do you think that was their way of trying to, maybe stick it to the Mets a little bit instead of reshuffling the matchups?
I think it's just the Mets' luck to have that happen to them, that they wouldn't get it reshuffled. I mean, if Pete Alonso was the number 1 seed, do you think he still would have won?
I question it just because it was a hell of a first round for the top seed, and with the way his cousin was pitching, I don't know. Like here right now, I'll show you the there's the brackets were. So it was 1 versus 8. So it was Chapman versus Guerrero.
But no, Pete Alonso would have totally lost that if he only hit 4 home runs in that first round.
Well, here's my thing though, Pete hit 14 home runs the first round because that's all he had to hit. That's the thing. That's all he had to hit. Now, granted, his cousin wasn't in the groove yet, but then he went on to 20 and 23 home runs. I mean,
but do you think he would have hit 29 the first round?
No. Not with his cousin.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was some technical difficulties here.
What's going on, Jade?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this out. Anyway, so back to us. So that was the Derby brackets, how they matched up. So I mean, as you saw in that, I mean, at the end of the day, we cut to the chase. We all know what happened. We're all Met fans. We loved what happened. It was a nail biter.
Absolutely,
it was a hell of a nail biter. I did not think he was going to get to any next round based solely on his cousin, Derek Morgan, and I mean, he's a professional pitcher.
Yeah, but I don't know. Get an MLB pitcher next
Seriously. I mean, there were gentlemen who were in their 60s pitching a shit ton better than that. And it's when you have someone whose family, I get it. It's important. It means something. Look at how Bryce Harper won cheated last year with his father. But
that's nice.
I mean, it's nice that he won, but I feel like if he does it next year, which I feel like he's going to have to kind of defend the title against Vlad again, maybe think about getting somebody else in there to throw the balls. But I mean, at the end of the day, Pete won with 57 home runs.
Good for him.
And Vlad Guerrero had 91.
91.
And even Peterson had
more. Pull up
the
bracket again? Let's look at
pull up the bracket again. All right, here we go now.
Well, he did have that run where he hit, what was it, 40 home runs?
Who, Pete?
No, Vlad.
Well, I mean, Vlad had, that was because they had, quadruple overtime basically. They had to do the 1 minute runoff.
But then at the same time, if Pete Alonso ended up getting the overtime as well, he probably would have reached the same number.
And that's the end of the day. Like, there's a huge argument going on right now online about how it's not fair that Vlad didn't win it because he hit more home runs. And at the end of the day, you do have to remember the fact that Pete didn't use his full time every time, and all 3 rounds he earned the 30-second bonus and didn't need to use it.
I mean, and then think of it like this. Funny, it's set up in a bracket system, just how the playoffs are in the MLB or in any sporting system. It's not like they count. It's not like in soccer where they count the total score towards your. It's not an aggregate. You're not playing for an aggregate score. So in one round, if you hit 40 home runs, but then you hit 1 home run the next round,
and
you lost. You can't say, oh, but the other round I hit 40 home runs.
And that's baseball. I mean, you have the divisions where you could have a division that has 3 teams that have
over 95 wins.
Exactly. And you may have one that doesn't reach the wild card. And that's the institution of the wild card game now, is having 2 teams that are going to have more wins than people who win their divisions, who automatically go on to the division series. But now you have the 2 wild cards, and you can still end up with a team in the division that has more wins than another team that made it, and they just don't even get to the wild card. But at least it helps that. But I mean, at the end of the day, how do you feel about there being? I honestly, the second it happened, as he was getting there in the last round, I said to myself, "There's going to be a format change next year." Because they've been changing it for a long time. Remember, it used to be 10 outs. I think you change it to, you keep them timed to 4 minutes. The top 4 advance. They're not matched up against each other, and that keeps people on their toes longer in the sport. They have to sit there and wait through 8 guys, and then I think that's fair.
Okay,
I think that's fair.
I'll take that,
especially because it's an exhibition. You're not worrying about divisions and where you're not. I mean, it is for fun, and the fact that it's $1 million prize. Not everyone's going to donate to charity the way Petey Pete did, and Petey Pete got $1 million pre-tax. And he was donating part of his winnings to the Wounded Warrior Project. And at the last minute, he decided to also split it into the Tunnel to Towers Fund. Yeah. And he decided to do that because he saw Luis Alvarez's testimony with Jon Stewart at Congress about 9/11 Victims Fund, and then of course he passed away 15 days later, whatever it was. And so that's who Pete is.
So I think
Pete was inspired. Very noble. Very, very noble. And I'm sure the rest of it's going to go to, he'll probably give some to his cousin who pitched, and he'll probably put a lot of that to his family and whatnot. But that speaks who he is.
What was the Noah Syndergaard tweet?
The Noah Syndergaard decided to congratulate his boy Petey Pete with a tweet, and it read like so.
It said, "Congrats, Polar Bear at Pete Alonso. Doubled your salary tonight."
So anyone who doesn't get that, these poor baseball players. When they come up, they're only making about $500,000 a year.
A little north of that.
A little north of that, yeah. But they're only making $500K a year. I mean,
some of them don't even get to start.
They don't. I mean, some people. Jed Lowry, for one. I mean, granted, he's not making minimum wage, but it's just they're only making $500K. Yeah. So he's double his salary in one night. The poor guys. But I think
that was a hilarious and savage tweet by Noah.
I love Syndergaard for that. That's why I say he needs to one day be one of our color analysts, because he's hilarious. And we have some friends. Hey Barbara, hi. Thank you for watching. And Loki says, correct me if I'm wrong, but last home run derby that mattered was when we discovered Cespedes. I mean, I wouldn't say we discovered him, but damn, was that a hell of a night where we all did fall in love with Cespedes. Said, God, what could he do if he was here? And then we found out, and for a while it was great, and now it's just poop.
He broke both his legs. Is
he
still? And I wonder if he's still in cast.
Probably. I don't know, but I mean, going back to the format change. Would you be okay with that change?
I'd be okay if it just helps better the format. Like you said, I think if it's the top, if of the 8, top 4 goes on, then cool. Yeah, let's keep it on the edge. But don't be like, oh, whoever hits the most home runs at the end of the night gets to take the title home, because then that would be bullshit.
Well, that would be the way it is without brackets, because at the end of the day, the second round, then the top 2 go.
No, but I'm saying it's you have the top 4 and then they restart and then they go again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, yes. I'm not
each
saying
round you restart.
Yeah, I'm not saying to have a total number.
I agree with that.
Because then if they say, okay, a total number of home runs from the first pitch that was thrown in your round in the derby, up until the
well,
last
they used
one.
to have something like that.
Yeah.
They used to have something like that.
Which is then obviously Guerrero would have won it. But
yeah. I mean, and let's be honest. I mean, Mets fans, we may not want to admit this to ourselves, but had it been the other way around, we'd be pissed. If Alonso had 91 and Vlad had 57 and he won, we'd be like, this is some unfair bullshit.
Yeah,
I get the gripe.
Hate the
rules.
The game.
Yeah,
hate the game, not the player.
And that's what it is. Come down to, if you know what, redefine it next year or whenever you want to do it.
Yeah.
You want to change the format, make it a little more even. Fine. In the meantime, Pete won fair and square. And had he used that extra, basically two minutes and change that he didn't use,
he probably would have had at least 30 homers, 30 extra homers.
Probably he would have definitely been. It would have probably been more like 91, 85 or something like that. And then the argument is a little less valid. All right. But that was
let's
wonderful.
Go more into the All-Star Game festivities.
Yeah, all right. You want to go into some of the stats for Jacob deGrom?
Yeah, so Jacob deGrom, he pitched the bottom of the third, and he was just 1, 2, 3, lights out.
Seven pitches.
Kind of a stat back to when he was an All-Star in 2015.
Yeah,
and he was pretty much 1, 2, 3 and 10 pitches.
He's always been good in the All-Star game. This is his third one.
So yeah, he struck out George Springer. He got the DJ LeMahieu to bounce out to him, and then Mike Trout on a pop out to first base.
Trout, considered possibly the best hitter who's ever lived, popped up at the All-Star game.
Wow,
beautiful
for him. And then we're looking at Pete Alonso. He struck out in his first at bat. However, he redeemed himself with the second at bat with the bases loaded while we were down by 3-1. 3 runs.
3 more. Are you okay? Can't hear yourself.
I know. I can't hear myself anymore. Yeah.
Sorry. Folks.
Thanks, Sheyne. Well, I don't got to rub it in my fucking face.
Well, at least you'll see it now because you have the cool glasses on too. So.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
I envy you.
And he did single, and he drove in 2 runs, but it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough, but you know what? He made a really good showing of himself.
Yeah. And that play at first base.
2 plays.
I saw the highlight that
or the stretch one.
Yeah,
that was a stretch one, and then he made one that was like a weird in between hopper towards his face, and he got the out. Almost didn't get the out only because the pitcher was like lollygagging. Yeah. He was doing a canoe. But that other one where he made the stretch, because basically what happened, ladies and gents, is that it was a ground out to I believe short of third, and or was it second? It might have been second. Second.
This diving play.
Yeah.
No, that was to second base.
Second base, and the second baseman came up with it, threw it wide. And Pete stretches out, belly down, and his spikes in the bag. And
that was a phenomenal play.
But what was funny, he was mic'd up that inning, and they said, "Oh man, that was a hell of a play." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not sure I was on the bag." I'm like, "You're a little too honest, Pete. You're a little too honest about that." But there's no replay in the All-Star game because it doesn't mean anything anymore, thank God. But yeah, I mean, you gotta love his person, how he approached the whole thing. From the second he stepped down to the home run derby, he was the one kind of rallying all the guys with their egos. And what was
crazy, it's like you think about it before, sorry, I know I can't hear myself. So you think about it before the All-Star game, or I guess before he was selected, there were doubts that he wasn't even going to be an All-Star.
Yeah.
And I think he probably stole the show.
He did. I mean, you got to give it up to Vlad. I mean, he and Vlad and what Peterson did was incredible. But as far as
the MLB right there,
the game, it's the actual All-Star game in conjunction with the home run derby, he killed it.
Absolutely.
He killed it. And he was probably the star of the day. Chapman, wife pistol whipping Chapman got the save for the game, and what's his face got the win from the Bronx. But Pete made quite the showing of himself, and it's quite something. And but we'll get to some more stuff about him later. And then there was Jeff McNeil.
My name is Jeff.
And he
let's go break down McNeil's stats.
His stats are nothing. Wait, are you giving away the Thor bobblehead? I'm asking for a friend. Which one, bro? Because we got the Game of Thrones and the Thor. I'm assuming you mean the Thor.
We'll sell it to you for $500. We need to sponsor the show.
We do need a sponsor for the show. Would you like to sponsor the show? We'll give it to you for your cat, Cole. Victor wants Cole. He likes your cat. Anyway,
whose cat do I want? What?
Loki G's. Anyway, so McNeil had made 2 catches in left, I believe it was. Yeah, one at bat, and he flew out to left. But some really shitty things happened to Jeff McNeil at the All-Star game. Would you like to speak to that, sir?
So pull up the image first.
Well, I was going to do it as you spoke about.
So pretty much Jeff McNeil, when he came up to bat, instead of Jeff's face coming up, it was Jacob deGrom. And that was pretty funny, man.
That's not funny. That's fucked up.
Okay, but say you weren't a Mets fan. You're saying that it's fucked up because you're a Mets fan.
I think it's fucked up because they didn't just fuck up McNeil. They didn't just fuck him. So McNeil himself was like, that was really tough to see DeGrom's picture up there. I didn't really like that. I want to see my picture up there. I know my family did too. What are you gonna do? I guess I don't think this should happen. I mean, we're very excited, and he's like, they had 2 weeks to prepare for this basically. True. And the Cleveland Indians were like, we're very excited about the positive reaction we received about the All-Star event week event in Cleveland. It was obviously unfortunate that scoreboard miscues and we apologize that occurred. They sent it to SNY.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just Jeff. It wasn't just Jeff. So you had other people, including Rockies outfielder Dave Dahl, who was like Davis Dahl, and Cubs catcher Wilson Contreras.
Yeah.
Wilson, they just left out one of the L's in his name, so it's not as egregious as, and I'll show this to the audience again. It's not quite as egregious as. Yeah, I'm really good with this technology. It's not quite as bad as this, where you're seeing someone else's friggin' face up there. But like, this is, he's worked so damn hard to get here, and it's not, that's fucked up. Would I be as pissed if it was someone who wasn't a Met? No, of course, I don't have the emotional investment. That being said, that's still shitty. Like I was thinking about it, and over the weekend, and over this week, and I was like, I would expect that from the Mets. I would expect that,
but that's what
Citi
I'm saying.
Field.
Okay, but the only reason why I find it just a little bit funny because it is like, oh, what else can we add to this Mets season that hasn't happened already?
Fair.
And I mean, look, I know you would want to see your face up there, and I mean, if I was Jeff McNeil, I would probably be disappointed.
What would your name be?
My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff. However, like, we live in an age where there's a camera everywhere. Like, if you want to put up a picture of yourself at the All-Star game, I'm sure someone took a picture of you, or MLB has a picture of you, like talking to Pete Alonso, or you're batting at the plate.
He can't put it up on the big screen, though.
No, I'm not saying he's putting it up on the big screen, but if he wants it for himself. Do you think so? You tell me, and this is not, a stab to be like, oh, Jeff McNeil doesn't deserve to get his picture up. But all right, go back to an All-Star game 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you remember who played in that All-Star game? Probably
2 years ago. Was that 2017?
Yeah. Do you remember? Name the starting second baseman who played in the All-Star game.
Wasn't Daniel Murphy for like Washington?
Was it? Like, see,
I don't know.
But I don't know. Like,
I get it, but that's the thing, because it's a fleeting thing. It's not like it in years past. It was like you had a steady stream of all-stars all the time because it was like the standards. They had to get voted in. Now it's kind of like it's whoever's hot in the first half. This could be, I don't think it will be, but it could be his only time. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And to see your face up there, 60 feet wide, that's fucked up. But, I mean, it's not the end of the world, of course. But, I mean, I guess they're just saying that him and DeGrom look alike? Because could you imagine the controversy if it wasn't Jeff McNeil and Jacob DeGrom? Holy moly! I'm just gonna leave this cannoli right there. But if it wasn't two guys who
look a little similar, have a little
and that complexion, it would be a huge controversy. But it is what it is. But what's really cool is that Jeff continued to cement his legacy in the hearts of us Mets fans. And I'm just going to put this up there, and then I'm going to read it to y'all. He made a statement.
Oh, you mean Pete Alonso?
Yeah, Pete Alonso. Yeah.
Oh,
did I say Yiff?
You said,
I apologize.
You said Jeff McNeil. I was like,
no, he didn't.
What are you showing?
But Pete Alonso cemented his place in our hearts. Pete says the Mets have the most loyal fan base in baseball. Quote, it's very easy to hop on a bandwagon. We have the Yankees, and they have 27 World Series. For people to stay true to the Mets and not deviate and waver, I think it's a sign of loyal fans. Now, granted, that's not the shadiest thing you could possibly say, but it does, it doesn't hold too many punches back in stating the very obvious truth that us Mets fans know, that a lot of Yankee fans are bandwagon bitches.
Yeah. As we mentioned earlier in a couple episodes, like, being a Mets fan is like real life.
It's hard.
So, yeah,
it's a relationship. It takes work.
if you're a Mets fan, you're the truest fan.
You are.
Yeah.
You're also some of the most knowledgeable as well. We don't always get our facts right on this show, but we do most of the time. And as much as I'll get into it, people on fan pages on Facebook or whatnot, like these people are passionate. They know their stuff. They're constantly engaged.
I mean, you look at the Mets fan pages and like you could go on Instagram and each one is going to have their own take, their own spin on it. So
and you don't find that with Yankee fans. They'll be on the official page. They'll be on the official page, and that's as far as they'll go. And they'll double tap to like it. Yeah. And you ask most Yankee fans. I give credit to the ones who lived through the droughts of the 60s, 70s, and 80s and whatnot. Granted, it wasn't drought. We wish we had that kind of drought with the intermittent World Series championships. But you ask most Yankee fans, even ones who lived, especially ones actually now who lived through the 90s dynasty, name 5 Yankee players. I'll wait. They can't fucking do it. They'll be like,
I gotta think.
I can do it, but
Jorge Posada.
No, I'm talking about current Yankee players.
Current Yankee players.
Name 5 current Yankee players. They can't fucking do it.
Oh yeah.
But they have the contest at the games where you had to get the higher number contest with the numbers. Where you had to guess the jersey number and if the next one's gonna be higher or lower. But sometimes just like, matches. He wore number 22 in the 1969 World Series. Don Clendenin, It's funny. So I kind of love that he did.
But now,
that.
Do you think it's too early to jump on the Alonso bandwagon?
That is a good question. Where'd you get that from? That was an amazing question.
It's an amazing question.
It is an amazing question.
It's like we had it written before,
right? Oh my god! Yes.
Wow.
Oh, Loki G says the cat is non-tradable. All right. So then, what are you willing to do to part with the Thor bobblehead?
We need some value here.
Yeah, we do. We should have a contest. Get people to share and get other people to watch, and we'll give away. Victor's hat.
No, I actually like this hat. I bought this at the Mets game.
We will clean the lice off first. I promise.
Thanks. Yeah.
I would give away my jerseys, but it won't fit anybody because you'll look like you're swimming in it. See? Anyway, so. Well, hello, Jackie. Rude. Oh, she's upset about the Yankee stuff.
Who?
My friend Jackie. Jackie. So name 5 current Yankee players without using Google. We'll wait.
Savage Shane. Is she typing? Nope. Oh, someone wrote something else.
Boom. I'm willing to watch and ask questions. This is true.
Okay.
All right. Well, ask some questions, Loki. Maybe we'll give you a Thor bobblehead.
Well,
all right. So moving on, because clearly Jackie can't name anybody, even though we're on delay, so we really haven't given her a chance.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying.
Is it too early?
No. I'm gonna jump on the Pete Alonso bandwagon. Yeah. I'm saying it. I'm buying his jersey this season. I don't know when.
I think you're not the only one. I know. Yeah. People are like.
Well, once he wins Rookie of the Year, that's when I think.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, because my friend was like, she was like, I really want his jersey now. Like just all the things he keeps saying, the approach he takes, the just the relatability, which is, people are saying he's the next David Wright. And while it's very early to say that, it is so damn reminiscent of David Wright's up and comings. And I don't want to Sanchez him yet. Little Jets reference there. How Jets fans, the second he was drafted, they were like, "Oh my God, the Sanchez is going to be our quarterback for 15 years, and we're going to win a bunch of Super Bowls. I almost said World Series." And then you got the AFC Championship 2 years in a row, and then you got what? The butt fumble. He was so bad.
What he's known for.
The fireman Ed quit, and he was given his own seats and his own little thing to stand up on and do their their chant. And so I'm cautious of that because any team that ends in "ets" usually something that can go wrong will go wrong in this bi-state area of New York, New Jersey.
True.
But I think he's definitely.
I don't know.
He hasn't had any mishaps.
You know what? I was thinking. Remember when Jacob deGrom won Rookie of the Year on Mets.com? They were selling an autographed Jacob deGrom baseball for like $100, and I was like, nah, you know what? Like, I'm not convinced to buy this ball for $100. That's signed. Jacob deGrom. Was it in 2014 he won Rookie of the Year? Yeah.
Yes.
2014 Rookie of the Year, and I was hesitant to buy it. Now, if you own that baseball, it's probably worth a couple $100.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
I don't know.
I mean, a Cy Young award I feel is
no, I'll
loftier than Rookie of the Year, but he has both. But
yeah.
But I get what you're saying though.
But it was like I should have bought that baseball back then, and then now
now you would have it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't think it's too early to do that. I'm not yet to anoint him to David Wright status of leadership, but he's on that path so far. If he continues to deliver on the field, and he continues to be a uniting presence off the field the way he was this week, then yeah, I think we have something legitimate with him. We really, really do. Joe Beningo was saying,
and we have a nice core too. I mean, think of it with
DeGrom,
McNeil,
Thor,
Conforto. Maybe you could throw Dom Smith. Maybe he starts getting.
I mean, I love Dom Smith. He's so awesome. Yeah. But not yet, because I feel like if anyone would be there before him, it would be Rosario.
Okay.
But Rosario still has a lot to prove.
Absolutely.
A lot to prove.
Well, he was kind of the first batch of, I guess, all position players.
Yeah.
To really come from he's the next big thing. Like Conforto, I feel like he kind of came out of.
We came out of nowhere because he wasn't AAA.
Yeah.
And he came out in the middle of that incredible 2015 run. And I mean, but yes, it's a good core.
It's a good core that we have, but it just. I mean, we sound like broken records, but it's the bullpen that keeps messing things up.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as Alonso goes, he's been the real deal so far, and I forget what I was going to say something about him, but it's quite something. It's really quite something.
Hats off to you, Alonso. Any questions that we've gotten so far, or no?
No, just Loki said judge, and judge, but we weren't asking you the question. Oh wait, well Loki actually has told me, and we'll throw this little topic in there. How do you feel about people who say they root for New York?
No.
Close. All right.
I'm not rooting for New York. Why would I root for New York?
Loki, explain to us why you root for both teams.
I can't. If I see the Yankees in the World Series, I'm not rooting for them. We had the discussion where it was like, would you root for the Phillies or the Yankees?
I mean, I made that decision in 2009 to be like, I guess the Yankees, because what's one more? I have my reasons to be like, I didn't want the Phillies to have 3 and we still have 2. Because I was always getting into verbal fights with people at the stadium. But it was a painful decision to make.
But I don't know. I can't do that. It's like I'm a Jets fan, so I can't be like, oh, if the Giants make it to the Super Bowl, I'm gonna root for them. No. I'm a huge Knicks fan, and if the Brooklyn Nets make it to the playoff, they're obviously gonna make it to the playoffs. But if they make it to the finals, in the next couple seasons with Irving and Durant, I'm not rooting for them. They should have come to the Knicks. But that's our basketball podcast in the offseason, maybe.
I don't know anything about basketball.
It's okay. We'll catch you up to speed. But you want to jump into the Verlander comments, or is there?
Well, Verlander, Justin Verlander, who's he with? The Tigers?
No, he's with Houston now.
He's with Houston? Oh, that's right. That's who won the World Series. Duh. So Justin Verlander spoke briefly about his belief that Major League Baseball is juicing the balls. The first debate about that came up around the All-Star break, the All-Star game in 2015. Mm-hmm. After home runs in that season surged in the first half, they were up about 60% for 2014. At that point, the commissioner, Rob Manfred, put together a committee to investigate. And, of course, it took him 3 years or whatever it is. So it was released that that the ball, they have acknowledged that the balls during the home run derby are juiced to make for a better show. And it did say that something was different about the balls, but they wouldn't specify. The study didn't go into details, at least that which was released to the public.
The game a little bit differently.
But they wouldn't say what was the exact cause. Now, Rawlings is the company that makes the balls. And then around that same time, who bought Rawlings? Major League Baseball. Yeah. And so Verlander he says, quote, "It's a fucking joke. Major League Baseball is turning the game into a joke. They own Rawlings, and you've got Manfred up here saying it might be the way they center the pill. They own the fucking company. This is a quote. If any other $40 billion company bought out a $400 million company and the product changed dramatically, it's not a guess as to what happened. We all know what happened. Manfred, the first time he came in, what did he say? He said he wanted more offense. All of a sudden he comes in, the balls are juiced. It's not coincidence. We're not idiots. I don't know if there's a good or bad thing for the game. That's for them to decide. I don't think it's great. That's the true outcome of strikeouts, homers, and walks is best for the game. That's for somebody else to decide. I talk about time a lot. How do you stack up in history? If you're going to change something so dramatically, I think you need to make people aware. And other people, he thinks it's 100% juiced. And, he said this on ESPN on Monday. And then Manfred was saying that he doesn't know about it. He has denied any involvement from the league. And, he's got his scientists looking into it still. And other players such as CC Sabathia and others have said, they kind of think that he's kind of on his side with that. He didn't go into great detail. He's being very diplomatic. And JD Martinez, though, on the other hand, was like, as fastball velocity from pitchers grew, their control over pitchers waned, and the explosion and knowledge from the hitters tilted the game in their favor. It's a power arm league. It's either a walk or a strikeout, stuff over command. I think you see a lot of more mistakes over the plate, the velocity, the guys trying to hit the ball in the air. I think it's a recipe for home runs. So he's kind of on the side of like, it's not juice. The batters have just figured it out. I mean, you had the year of the pitcher again a few years ago, and now you're having an offensive explosion.
You want to look into the numbers so far in this first half of the season, there have been 3,691 homers hit. And so if that pretty much continues, is that it's on pace to shatter the record that was in 2017.
Yeah.
That the 2017 record was about approximately 6,100. And if, it continues at the same pace, we could end the season at approximately 6,700 homers.
Jesus.
Damn. It's a lot of home runs.
Yeah, there's definitely validity to what he says. Something's changed, and maybe it's a combination of both of them, but it's definitely something that's I wouldn't put it past Major League Baseball. Look at what they did in the steroid age. They turned a blind eye throughout the 90s because why? It was an offensive explosion. And
people were excited.
You had McGuire and Sosa, and you had
there was that home run race every time.
Yeah. So it's good for the game as far as making money and getting ratings go. And then now you have another thing that they're trying to do that they're experimenting with in the Atlantic League, which I thought the Atlantic League was only an independent league, but they are in conjunction now with the MLB. So I guess, I don't know, it's how like maybe WWE bought a WCW years ago. But anyway, they're implementing now in the second half a stealing first base new rule. The new rule is described as any pitch on any count not caught in flight or dropped by the catcher will be considered a live ball, and the batter may run to first, similar to a dropped third strike. What do you think about that?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I think I would be on board for that. You could run if it's a drop strike on the third. What is it? On the third strike?
Yeah, on the third strike, yeah.
Why not just do it on a pass ball? I'm okay with that. It's more exciting. It would increase on base percentage.
Absolutely.
And
it puts an emphasis on having speedier players.
Yeah, exactly. You take, I forgot what player they used an example in that article that you sent me, but say you have a Juan Lagares, right? Who you could say he's a speedy guy, but he's not going to get you hits. But say a ball goes past the catcher, and you have a chance for Juan Lagares to run on that base pads, get to first, possibly steal second base.
Do you think it'll inspire teams to maybe change the dimensions of the backstop?
Oh, yeah.
Because the Mets have the closest backstop in all of baseball.
They do. I remember.
And a brick wall, so it bounces off quicker.
Oh, yeah. That would be a huge strategy for teams. I remember in the old Yankee Stadium. You remember how far that backstop was?
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like 90 feet in itself.
So I'm on board if they do bring that in. I wouldn't.
Ultimately, Manfred is, he can decide to bring it in anytime he wants in the minors or the majors. They want to make sure they do enough research to make sure that it's right. So a few questions for you, though, Victor, and I'll answer them as well. Obviously, this is a part of a way to make the game more exciting. People like seeing people run.
Yeah,
it makes a more offensively driven game. Do you think that this could in any way go hand in hand with the accusations from Verlander that the balls are juiced to make it a more offensive centered game?
I think it's It would be two separate things. I can't say that because of the juice balls, they're now gonna have people be able to run on a wild pitch or a passed ball. If the balls are indeed juiced, then you know what? It kind of sucks for the pitchers because their ERAs are being blown up. I mean, that's the difference between wins and losses. However, if we take a look at the article where you could arguably steal first, I'd rather have that than to have a juiced baseball because it makes the game more interesting.
Yes.
What if a wild pitch gets past the pitcher, right? Like now, but I'm saying if say the pitcher's up at bat, right?
Oh yes.
So instead of hoping that you have guys who can hit like a Zach Wheeler or Noah Syndergaard, you're actually allowed to run. Like I don't know who's a terrible hitting pitcher, or say Bartolo Colon. Say Bartolo Colon. Yes. There's a wild pitch past Bartolo Colon.
He's not getting to first, though.
He's not getting to first, but
I know what you're saying.
He has a chance to do it.
Yeah,
and I think it makes the game a little bit more interesting. It creates, you kind of have to create a strategy because, I don't know, that is a meaningless pitch once it goes past the backstop and there's no one on the bases.
And it puts a great emphasis on good fielding catchers.
Exactly.
Which is a lot. There's a lot that aren't. You know, they always say the quickest way to the majors nowadays is to be a strong catching and offensive catcher. But, you know, even that. I mean, do you think in any way that this will demonetize pitchers?
What do you mean demonetize pitchers?
Meaning like because then it'll become a stat of bases allowed through. Well, that's going to be a whole new abbreviation.
But they make up stats every day.
It doesn't
even matter.
And those stats go into arbitration, which go into offering contracts, which go into free agency. And the free agent market is already down a little bit as far as what people are getting paid. Do you think that this will help save the owners some money?
Probably. I mean, I mean, the league is,
and not just pitchers, but the catchers too.
The league is going to like all analytics, sabermetrics, whatever the case is. So I think regardless, people are going to find excuses not to pay players money. Like maybe it could affect the money that pitchers make in terms of that, but if you look at the game in the long run, I think it helps baseball become more of a strategy game than just hitting home runs over a wall.
I agree.
I
mean, I'm for it.
I don't know if you agree with me.
No, I do. I just like
I
like your take on things. I at first was like, that's weird. And then I was like, you know what? It's a good change. It's not a terrible change to the game.
It's a steal. So you're telling me you could steal second base, third base, and home, but you can't steal first. It's not like the pitcher's batting before the pitch gets out of the pitcher's hand. She's already running to first base. It's not a change like that.
Yeah.
It makes sense in the parameters of the game, and it's just adding something new.
I agree.
It's not like we're playing softball and they're already like, oh, now everyone's gonna have a 1-1 count. They're not doing that.
True. That's very, very true.
I think it's just adding something exciting and
I agree.
Things to look forward to.
And now that's not the only change they're investigating in the Atlantic League. Robo umps. MLB is experimenting in the Atlantic League only with human umpires wearing Bluetooth earpieces that are connected to an iPhone that connects to strike zone software in the press box. The software only calls balls and strikes, and via the earpiece tells the ump the call. If the ump deems the call to be incorrect, he can override the call. Now, some players and managers have expressed that the new Robo Zone, as they're calling it, is different from what everyone has been used to their entire lives. What do you think about that?
This has to grow on me a little bit. I don't know if I'm too crazy about it. I know whenever you watch a game on like ESPN, they'll show an approximate strike zone and then wherever the pitch lands. And then, I mean, at home, you could be like, oh, that wasn't a ball or that wasn't a strike.
Yeah.
But like, not to sound paranoid or anything like that, but what if people start rigging the game, or
someone hacks the system?
Someone hacks the system, or there's things like that. I mean, I guess that's why you give more power to the ump.
Yeah.
But what if there's a little bit of some shady things going on?
Pay off an ump or umps not paying attention. We have a lot of those umps. Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't be too crazy about this. I mean, maybe you can use RoboZone to argue a strike 3.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't use it just to completely replace an umpire.
And they're not being completely replaced. I mean, I almost put it akin to replay, and replay, as Gary Keith and Ron will always say, has made it so the umps are able to slack off more and not be as diligent at their jobs and as effective in their jobs as they were prior to that. Our managers can't argue balls and strikes. They can't do it. But there's a legitimate gripe, and we've seen games turn in our favor and not and out of our favor because someone had a shitty strike zone. So does it help alleviate some of that? Does it make the game quicker? Does it put both teams on a more even playing field?
I mean, if the technology is what's the right way to say it? If the technology is phenomenal and there's no room for error, then I'm okay for it. But if it's going to be glitchy, if it's not going to be up to par, then no thank you. I'd rather have an ump have a odd strike zone than to have a system be like, oh, this was a strike, but clearly it was a ball.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Unless the technology that's being invested into now is top of the line and it's being upgraded every single year, then I'll buy into it maybe in 10 years from now.
Yeah.
But if it's kind of
you're just not sold yet. You don't.
Yeah, I don't think I'm sold yet. Like I would maybe. I mean, trying it now in the Atlantic League is great because
it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's meaningless.
I mean, it means something to those guys. I shouldn't say that. It means something to those guys.
But I mean, if you compare it to the MLB, it's not. I wouldn't necessarily introduce it yet.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. This is a little past due. Just having the Loki said, "Father was a Mets fan, mother's a Yankees fan, so I respect both. When I have to choose, it's the Mets all the way." Okay.
All
right. Fair. Cool. All right. You're off our shit list. You're still in the running for that bobblehead with just yourself. So the week recap. Well, a little while ago, we won against the Skankies on 7-2, 4-2. 7-3 on July 3rd. We lost 1-5. Jason did not have a good game. McNeil had a pretty good game, and that was pretty much it. And then the Phillies series, we lost the first game 2-7. That was Seinfeld night. Diaz and Familia, and Diaz especially, gave up 4 earned runs and 0.1 innings pitched. It was god awful to watch. Familia gave up 1 run and also 0.1 innings. Alonso that night hit his 29th home run. Team left 6 people on base. Something kind of going into the challenge thing is that that night the Mets had challenged a play early where they lost the play, and it was like something at like second base or whatnot, or third base. I think third base, and I think it was Smith and his triple or whatnot. I don't know, something like that. And it was clear as day that they weren't going to win it. The runner was out, and then later in the game, they had one of the Phillies player out at the plate. He was out. He was called safe. They had no challenge left. Should the challenge guidelines be revised so that the managers can actually review them themselves before deciding? Because obviously it's easy for me to go, you fucking idiot, Callaway. And then I did have to step back and realize the bench coach is getting on the Riggleman's getting on the line, and the guys in the replay booth right downstairs have 20 seconds, 15 seconds to decide, basically.
I mean, but at that point, you just go with your gut. You think
you're far away from some of these plays, though. You don't really know. And yes, it's a factor of trusting your players. Should there be? They have a screen in the dugout, at least at Citi Field. Most of them do, where they can see the bullpen or other things can be fed through. Should they be given 30 seconds and control of being able to look at it themselves?
Yeah, I'm for that.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I mean, it just helps the game, and it's an accurate call that you're trying to have. It's not like you're cheating anyone of a play.
Yeah.
If anything, you're cheating someone of a play when he was not safe or he was tagged out, with whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So if you're given it, I mean, I don't want it to be something that's obscene and like you could challenge the call 2 minutes after it was done. No.
Yeah, I mean 30 seconds.
It's like you see it once on a TV.
Yeah.
And then you're like, he was safe. So that you go out there, argue, I want to call the replay.
Yeah.
Then you take the challenge replay. I mean, it's only one. It's not like you're giving them 5.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's not like they're going constantly, I want to call this replay. I want to call this one.
Yeah.
It's not slowing down the game.
And it's really only innings. I guess if you use your challenge in the last 3 innings, you're asking for an umpire review.
Yeah.
Which you're just asking. It has no penalty against you. So in a way, it's only the first 6 innings that's going to be an issue. But I think if the manager is going to truly be the manager, they should have more direct control over what's reviewed and what isn't, as far as making that option. All right, and so then we won against the Phillies on Saturday, and the 6th, and Thor was pretty good. He won 5 innings, gave us 7 hits, 4 earned runs, but that was his first game back from the IL, so we can't get too down on him for that. And Diaz, he didn't fuck it up.
I know.
Were
you at that game?
Yes, I was, and it was good. It was a really, really, really good game, and there's a lot of hit by pitches going on.
Yeah, talk about this new rivalry that we possibly have going on.
So right now, basically, where is it? This season, 7 Phillies have been hit by the Mets, by Met pitchers, and 9 Mets have been hit by Philly pitchers. This is as updated as of the last game that was played in the first half. Keith Hernandez says that Phillies have a larger gripe, the more valid gripe, because more Mets pitchers have thrown towards the heads of the Phillies hitters. But you had some real interesting shit happening. Like, for instance, with Arrieta hit Alonso, Frazier, and Rosario. Segura was hit by Gesellman, but Frazier, being the feisty Todd father that he is, had there was some words exchanged, needless to say. And at the end of the day, at the game, in the post game interviews, Arrieta was like, well, if he wants to come and see me, I'll put a dent in his head. So he's acting like a little baby, and I personally think that it's because he is not the pitcher he once was. His stats are way decreased than what he used to be, and he's kind of starting to fade into obscurity. He's not quite the Cy Young contender that he used to be, and I think he's just pissed. And people are like, oh, the Mets are just pissed. Joe Girardi, which all these people seem to want to be our managers in the booth, saying, oh, the Mets are just making a gripe about being hit because they're losing. If you continually have people get hit, what the fuck? You have a gripe. And then especially with the umpire was warning both benches. And then Arrieta hit someone again. And what did he do when you warn both benches? And Mickey was like, why are you warning us? We're not doing it. He warns both benches. He hits Rosario, and nothing is done about it. He's not thrown out the game. Now, correct me if I have been in a lot of landing my entire life watching baseball, but when the warns both benches that about pitchers hitting batters, it's a warning. And then if you do it again,
thrown out,
you get tossed. And he didn't get tossed. Mickey then got tossed. Frazier had already gotten tossed about the warnings as he kept barking at the umpire, and rightfully so. And then Mickey got tossed. What the fuck? Maybe we do need automatons calling these games. That'll be fair.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So, but this is rivalry mean anything, and both teams are not. I mean, the Phillies have fallen from grace this season, and we're not good. And
I think this is probably a very frustrated rivalry.
Yeah,
that's probably between the two teams because there are losing cultures going on. I mean, the Phillies aren't. I mean, they're still in contention for a wild card.
Yeah, sort of, but that'll probably fade off.
I mean, do you want to look at the current standings now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the current standings now, and you have the Atlanta Braves sitting on top at 54 and 37. Then the Washington Nationals, they made a surge in the standings. They're in fourth place. They're 47 and 42. They're 6 games back of the NL East, and they are in first place of the wild card. Then the Philadelphia Phillies are at 47 and 43. They're trying to battle for that number 2 spot. They are 6.5 games back of the NL East, and they're pretty much a half game back of that first wild card spot. So if the playoffs were to end today, you would have the Washington Nationals facing the Philadelphia Phillies. And then in fourth place, we have our beloved Mets with 40 wins and 50 losses. And we're 13.5 games back of the wild card. Do you want to know what our magic number is?
No,
not yet.
What is it?
It's 59.
Okay.
In the wild card, we are seven games back. I could take it. Maybe if there's some trade deadline magic,
Shut up.
We can do something.
Shut up.
I mean, magic number there is
our
66.
trade magic is going to be getting rid of whoever.
Do you think
Wheeler is what they're talking about now?
Well, Wheeler, yeah, that's the number one. Maybe they get rid of Jason.
They're not going to get rid of Jason.
Jason. And then the Marlins are sitting at 33 and 55.
Go Jeter. So and then on Sunday we lost 3-8, and that was. But the good thing about that is while we were getting no hit, Alonso broke that baby up.
Thank God, I was at that game.
Yeah,
it was the Mets.
He hit his 30th home run.
Yeah, which was amazing. I was so happy because that not only broke the no hitter that was happening,
but you got to see it.
I got to see it, number 30 on the season, and hopefully we'll see 30 more.
It's a shorter half, so
yeah, but he's probably rocking that swing.
Probably, and as the weather is warmer, it's easier to travel. I'm gonna say he hits 28 more home runs. I'm gonna be
he's just shy of 60.
I think so. I think 58 is.
I think 58,
or he gets 57, just like he did at the home run derby. Yeah. That'd be interesting. But just because the season's really half over in like the 3rd or 4th week of June, so. I just think statistically wise, and how often is Mickey going to rest him now and blame it on the home run derby and feed into the stereotype that David Wright had and blah blah blah. It's just I don't know. There's a way to fuck him up. The Mets are going to find a way. I don't think he will get fucked up on his own. I just think that his stats will go down.
I think a little bit, but he'll probably end the season with at least 50 homers.
I think
at the rate that he's at now, absolutely. But can we talk about the Mets killer? I mean, I know we touched upon that, but Jay Bruce, man, has that trade bit us in the ass. Who would have thought that the man we traded to Seattle for Edwin Diaz and Robinson Cano would come back to the NL East and completely own the Mets? What do you got to say about that, Sheyne?
Well, Loki wants to trade a painting of the Vegas strip that someone painted on the street for the bobblehead, and you did not hear that we're getting Pete Alonso to trade deadline. No. Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about who?
Bruce. Yep. Same, bud. Same.
I mean, it never fails. It's always this fucking way. Someone
and
comes
was
here.
It Swarzak? He's now on Atlanta and he's killing us.
They always kill us. Can you imagine how Jason will win a fucking Cy Young award? Jason is gonna win a
Cy Young whenever
he goes to the Nationals or something. No, because he'll be in our division just to fuck us. It's oh God. How good is Real Muto looking right now?
Actually, I was looking at his stats. I was quite happy that we didn't sign him.
I guess. I don't know.
But Jay Bruce, you're looking at him and he has now 24 home runs.
Fuck him. He should have been in the home run derby so Alonso could have wiped the floor with him. But yeah, Bruce. Right. I don't even want to boo him at the stadium because it sounds like I'm supporting him. Anyway.
Let's go into the upcoming series that we have against the Marlins.
This weekend, we got Jason versus Caleb Smith, Thor versus Zach Gallen, and DeGrom versus Sandy Alcantara. Whatever.
Man, what happened, Shane? You lost all your motivation.
You had to bring up Jay Bruce.
Come on, I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all good. I mean, at least, I don't know.
All right, what are you taking in this series?
The Mets are going to sweep.
Sweep?
They're going to sweep the Marlins.
Wow, that's a very Victor prediction.
Because we're going to, unlike most years where we don't come out strong out of the gate, Alonso will have given the boost to the Mets that they need. We're going to come out strong. Everyone's going to get back up and be like, oh my God, it's going to happen. And then after that series, shit's going to just continue to fall apart. And everyone who got all amped up is going to look stupid just like they did in May.
All right. Actually, I mean, even before you said that, I would have the Mets sweeping. We got our 3 aces going.
That's so fucking sad. Oh God. Who do you think is going to take over Wheeler's spot if he gets traded?
I don't know. They're probably going to put in Lugo or something.
I think Font.
Font is going to be our new starting pitcher.
He was in there for Thor for a while.
What is he going to throw 4 innings every start? No, if he doesn't allow so many runs, he could probably make it to the 4th inning.
Canope
is
my new name for Robinson Canope. Mickey, the genius that fuckface is, continues to put Robinson Cano in the goddamn 3-hole. What the actual fuck? Meanwhile, Cano with his 240 average.
Oh, if he had a 420 average, I would have been very happy.
His 240 average and his 647 OPS and his inability to run and him running outside of innings because he jogs or walks fucking everywhere, as versus say someone like, I don't know, Dom fucking Smith, who has a 304 average and a 940 OPS, who hustles his ass off, almost got a triple, has done everything way out of expectation, everything the team wants. He and Pete have a bromance going, and remember, don't forget that Dom was supposed to be the next first baseman for the Mets. You have this dude who's just fucking incredible and continues to have his stock rise, and he's batting in the 7th hole, maybe the 6th. Well, Robinson Cano, who's there for the contract. What do you think?
You got to slide Cano down at least to the 5th hole, maybe 6th.
Yeah, I'd say 6th.
It's even. I don't know if Mickey's trying to I don't know if he doesn't want to hurt his ego, or with whatever the case is. But I'm not.
I think he's comfortable in the 3-hole.
I think I'm frustrated as a Mets fan watching him hit in that number 3 hole because there are other players that deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Like you put in Conforto, let's say.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's been
he's been our cleanup. Yeah, he's been our cleanup guy. But maybe you slide Wilson Ramos up, I don't know. You play with the lineup, but instead you change everyone else in the lineup. You throw our infielders in the outfield just so you give them at bats. However, Cano just stays in the same exact spot.
And meanwhile, you have a Danny Echeverria, who's the far superior second baseman. It's not even debatable. I mean, if you look at the stats, I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but it's basically like, which stat I felt. Anyway, I screwed up the stats here.
I mean, if we're looking at the stats now, I mean, this is based off Baseball Reference. Cano is batting .258 with what is it?
What about fielding?
No. Fielding percentage, that you might have to take a look into that.
Yeah.
However, if we're looking strictly at his batting, it's .250. Oh wow, we are totally screwing this up. We should have prepared before. Where the hell is this guy's average? He is batting, dude. Shane.
I don't know
what's going on.
That was a fielding percentage I didn't put in. Sorry, guys. We're having a technical difficulties.
His batting average is .240. He has 4 home runs and 18 RBIs.
I'd rather have Echeverria in there. His play has been stellar. He made 2 golden catches on Saturday at the game that saved the game twice. And he's a better fielder. He's a better runner. He's a better hitter. And because if you need Jeff in the outfield because you don't have Nimmo or whatnot, I'd rather have Juan out there than Robinson out there in the field. But
batting wise, look at it. Danny, he does have a lower batting average at .229, but at least with him, you can make the argument that you put him in that 8 spot.
Yeah.
But he still has the same amount of home runs at 5, and his RBIs are at 16.
And he's going to run out.
Yeah.
He's going to be safe more often than Cano's going to be. But that's just preaching to the choir. So, I mean, the second half starts tomorrow. What are your predictions?
The Mets, I really want to say they turn it around a little bit, only if they do a big signing or they do a big trade at the deadline.
Which Loki asks, is it true the Wilpons want to trade Syndergaard? It's been talked about.
Same with Wheeler. Unless they get those arms, and if the bullpen stays the same, then no. It's going to be a replica of the first half of the season, possibly even worse. We'll finish in 4th place. However, if we do get those arms in the bullpen that we've been in dire need of, and then we look at maybe trading one of our core pitchers that have come up in the system with us. I mean, I'd rather have them trade Zach Wheeler over Syndergaard.
Absolutely.
And you get some value. Maybe you rebuild the farm system. Maybe you make a small push for the playoffs.
What do you think? You think it's going to happen?
No.
Neither do I. I do think we'll do a little better than we did in the first half. I really do.
But if they replenish the farm system, by making these trades, then I can't kill the Mets for it. Because if it does help us in, maybe 3-4 seasons from now, where you have Pete Alonso in his prime, at that point he'll have DeGrom in his final season as a Met, or at least in his contract year.
Yeah.
And they make, a good playoff run, then you know what? Invest now and you cherish it later. But if they're not going to do much, then welcome to fourth place.
I just don't have faith that the Wilpons and Brody will get the right trade from the right team for what we're giving up.
I mean, we did strike out on the Cano and Diaz trade.
Yeah.
Do you think Edwin Diaz turns it around in the second half?
No.
No, you think he just stays the same?
I think he's going to be,
and with him, it's
2 days
50-50.
off, 1 day on, 2 days off, or 50-50 at best.
Yeah.
I don't see a great improvement with the pen all of a sudden. I see slightly better defense and consistent offense and more games won, but I don't see. I just don't see it.
You don't see a 2015 happening.
No,
not at all.
No. All right, so in this segment of what the actual fuck, we're gonna actually open the last show with me pretending to throw a chair at Victor. So this is a couple days old, a little more than that. On July 5th, Brody Fuckface Van Wagenen, the Olympian chair hurdler, after Diaz blew that game, he had a meeting with Mickey and assistant GM Allard Baird and the coaches in the coaches room, and he was furious that DeGrom, his former client's start, had been wasted.
Yeah,
and in that meeting, he picked up a chair and he threw it. All reports say that he didn't throw it at someone, but he threw it like at the wall across the room, which. I mean, granted, at least you're not throwing it at someone. This isn't the Geraldo Rivera show of old, but like, how weak-minded of a fool are you? How unprofessional you are. This is New York. People are going to find out about it. And then he told Mickey, I guess Mickey's probably like, the press is waiting for me. He's scared. Start your fucking press conference. Is that
Brody's
the kind of New
under
York
fire, man?
Yeah, but is that the New York fire you want? Or is that like...
No, that's just a repeat of what happened with Mickey Callaway a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
It's a repeat of that. That's it.
It's just disgusting. And he goes, quote, I think when we have private meetings, we'll keep all that content in the room for good reason. I am not going to give the specifics to any of those meetings. The specific is your coaches are lost. You're probably making half the calls for the coaches. Yeah. They're a bunch of bitches, especially Mickey Callaway, and you're unable to handle the pressures of being the leader of a team because you're an agent who's used to getting his way and swindling for money, and now you actually have to show results. Before you got the deal, it was up to the player to show results. Now you have to show the results, Brody, and you can't fucking handle it, so you're throwing chairs at people. You're a weak-minded, pretty boy fuckface, and you don't belong here. You should go back to your office, or you pretend to be fucking Arliss or Ari Gold or whatever the fuck you modeled your career after, wear your tight little suits, have sex with your women on the side, and leave this fucking team alone so the Wilpons can go out and find another shithead puppet.
I know Brody is on the hot seat with Met fans. Do you think the Wilpons have him on the hot seat?
No.
Not at all.
No. So, and I was there on Saturday, right?
Tell us this.
So, you know how we actually discussed this in prior podcasts, how we got swindled once, Victor and I, by a guy. Because everyone knows they have those car auto repair shops, chop shops, as you call them in New York, across the street from 126. I'm sorry, Seaver Way.
41 Seaver Way, Shane. Come on.
Yeah, Seaver Way. Sorry. And, in the back of the stadium, not the front. Anyway, I digress. So you have those free parking spots. And they were really convenient. Yeah, it was a little shady. Yeah, it was a little bumpy. And
you had to risk it a little bit.
You had to risk it a little bit because the fee is $25 anywhere else.
Yeah.
From the marina by the fucking boathouses.
You could probably buy 8 Mets tickets with the new promo they have going on.
Yeah.
Versus the parking.
Yep.
By the way, hold on. I know we digress a little bit,
yes,
but thank you, Pete Alonso, for 80% off Mets tickets for the remaining part of the season.
We can go watch you lose for more money.
Less money.
I mean, just spending more money.
No, if you're
you're
sitting in the nosebleeds, you're spending $5.
We're spending any money, I mean.
Yeah. There you go.
No, but yeah, thank you, Pete. And they're probably like, oh, this is great. Oh, shit, we're going to lose money.
Anyways, go back to the parking story.
So so we find out that they have now fenced off the fucking chop shops. Like
Damn.
so.
You realize Jason Vargas's brother isn't going to be able to jib people off anymore.
Yeah. So you see this right here. You see this first one right here. They have this fence right here. This fucking fence. And you have some cars that go there. It's mostly for the Ubers to park out for the end of the game. And it's just greedy. You know, here's another shot of it.
You took these shots?
Yeah, I took these shots, and you've got this shot right here. So you kind of see how long you actually have. All that was available to people. All of that, it was free, and then slowly but surely the cops started like closing off some or stopping others, which is completely illegal because the Mets don't own that land. The city's trying to buy it back so they can build arenas and stuff like that over there. And here's one more shot. You know, they're slowly buying, but people still have that land to themselves. And you can see that row in the back. That row in the back is still the majority of the chop shops are still in business. These avenues that they've now fenced off, and they're not fenced off in the sense of like you can open them on non-game days. They're fenced off. They had those barriers there. They're not moving them. So now they have one road of access to all these chop shops. And chop shops have cars outside. So not only are you taking away the fans' ability to have free parking. Meanwhile, they're already paid for tickets. They are going to go in there and they're going to spend all this money on food and all the and merchandise and whatnot. And now they can't even get what was it? 150 maybe free fucking spots, which would have evened out to $3,750 a game if they were if they all paid for those spots. You tell me you're missing that shit? You're not missing that shit. You're so goddamn greedy, Fred and Jeff. And now this may be also calculated to put those other chop shops that are holding out on selling their businesses to make them sell it because they're going to lose out. They're going to lose fucking money now. There's one avenue for those people that have business now, and it's just shitty. It's just fucking shitty. And you know, how about free parking to the first 500 fans instead of a plastic ass bobblehead or a shitty fucking shirt with some logo on it from sausage factories or some dumb tote bag. How about you get free parking to some fans and whatnot? Maybe the fans.
I think that would be cool because you bring the fans into the game. They're obviously going to want to drink. They want to have a beer, whatever the case is. They'll spend more money on concessions because that's how stadiums make their money now.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I think it's a valid idea. Maybe you give.
They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it because it's money, and they control everything from the marina over to now the chop shops. Everything short of the park or going down to 111th Street and driving around for an hour to look for fucking parking. They own and they have that shit, and it's just it's appalling.
You think? I mean, I know we've parked by the Queen's Museum.
Yeah,
and then we took a little walk.
It's a half an hour walk.
Which isn't terrible. Like
no, but also if you're like, especially, you know, I'm not trying to say that women are inherently weaker or something like that, but we all know a single mother is driving to the game, or just maybe the father can't go. She's with her children and she's got to walk through. Flushing Meadow's fairly safe, but at 11 o'clock at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night, you want her walking through the park. I mean, not that the Mets give a fuck, but it basically means put out the $25.
Yeah.
You know, some people have limited fucking budgets to work with. We live paycheck to paycheck, most people. Disgusting, yeah. Not that, and people can move. The chop shops weren't safe, but they were right across here from the stadium. If someone screamed, you would be heard. The cops are right there. The Uber drivers are right there. The fans are right there. You would be heard. In the middle of Flushing Meadow Park at 11 o'clock at night, you're not going to be heard necessarily. And then all those spots are going to be used up for the U.S. Open.
True.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Are we going to do Mets 3? Or did we already do it with the parking?
Yeah.
Why don't we just move on to Mets memes? Our last segment of the day. Yeah. How about that?
How far are we into the episode?
I don't know. We're into the episode. Yeah, we're definitely now into it. We're all right. This is the final segment. Our
Mets
friends.
memes.
So here's the first one.
And I have not seen any of these. And I saw a preview of a Mets meme, and that's why I started
laughing. So here we go.
And I try to hold it back the best way I can.
So going back to what we were talking about, what the actual fuck Brody. WWE slamming a metal chair over Mickey Callaway. I don't know who these wrestlers are, but that's pretty fucking funny.
I love that.
That's pretty, and I feel like those are their bodies too. That's pretty funny.
They blended in Brody's head quite well.
Not so much Mickey's. Yeah. All right, where is our next meme? We only have a few this week. All right.
You got Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith. Diaz entrance music plays. City Field stands.
That is everyone's reaction to whenever he comes in.
He gets booed now when he goes into games.
I know.
Fucking hilarious. So
good,
I mean,
Mets fans, go voice out your frustration.
Do it. All right. Here's a funny one.
What's a read?
All right, so this is Buddy Christ from Dogma, the Kevin Smith View Askew universe. I do have a sense of humor, you know. Ever hear of the Mets? Because Yankee fans always try to say that God is a Yankee fan, but and Mets fans are like, well, he definitely doesn't love us, except every few years. All right. The next one is. This is kind of you, Victor, in the beginning of the year. But we've talked so much shit.
Look, I'm a proud Mets fan, man. I will never put a paper bag over my head.
I know that. Instead, you'd put those glasses on, but that's aside the point. I mean, I mean,
man, leave the glasses alone.
I'm teasing you, fashionable bastard. But I mean, at the beginning of the year, you did chest thump and say that you believe we were going to win the World Series
because we had the team. Can you show them the baseball card I sent you?
I don't know where it is. I can't.
It's in your messages.
Oh, hang on. Well, here's a good one. This is a sad one. Puts team on back, man. Gets spinal stenosis.
Wow, did you make that meme?
I did not make that meme. I found that today.
Wow. That's harsh. That's really brutal. As much as I love David Wright, and that is a hilarious meme, but that's a fucked up meme.
That's fucked up, but it's sadly true. But yeah, that's a funny one. And so Victor sent me this one. I don't know what it is. A minute before the show, and I have no idea what it is, but I'm going to show it to y'all. And here we go.
It's a Jed Lowry baseball card for the player who will never put on the uniform for the Mets in the regular season.
There's a good question about the second half. Does Jed Lowry come and play for us?
He'll play the last game of the season.
Probably. So yeah, that's he's pretty.
Why are we reversed on YouTube?
Yeah, we're the right way on YouTube. When you're feeding it,
okay.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're the right way on YouTube. Anyway, so it's not it's not stems, it's Mets. I like the stenosis one though because it's pretty on point. Puts team on back, gets stenosis.
That was
the way of the Mets.
Meme of the episode.
All right, so that was an eventful episode. That was lengthy.
It was good. I'm glad we were able to catch up on all the content that we had available for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. By the way, I do not know how many live people we have.
Right now we had 5. We were down to 2 for a while. We're back to 5.
Awesome. Cool.
Just to say goodnight to them.
Yeah. Please. Good night, you 5 followers.
You 5 beautiful, wonderful people. As usual, please subscribe, hit the bell notification, like, share on Facebook
and
Instagram.
On YouTube. We had a slight name change. We are Standing Room Only NY. I think before we used to be Standing Room Only Podcast.
Yeah, but now we're NY. And
so that.
But you're on that page right now, so we're Standing Room Only NY Podcast. So
and then you could also find us on Instagram at Standing Room Only NY. Feel free to message us if you ever want to join the show. We're more than glad to do some sort of collaboration.
Yes, you got some Mets memes. Keep it going. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and just continue to be the wonderful people that you are.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, God.
My name is Jeff.